If you've been a poker fan for a while, you've probably heard of Eli Elezra, an Israeli-born businessman and poker player who used to appear on almost every poker show. Eli has always been a player that everyone wanted around, from TV producers and fellow pros to spectators sitting in front of their TV sets. He's always mild-mannered and in the mood to make a joke. While Elezra has had a successful poker career and published an autobiography, it wasn't without criticism. It appears that he has another, less pleasant side that only those who spend a lot of time with him have seen. If you're a fan of Eli Elezra and have been wondering what the seasoned pro has been up to recently, this video will attempt to provide some answers. The good news is that he hasn't abandoned poker and he still plays frequently, but not as much as he did in the past. The stories of how young poker players discovered and became involved in the game are typically remarkably similar. However, more experienced experts frequently have colorful and fascinating stories about how they ended up grinding away at the green felt. Eli Elezra has a unique story. He was born in Jerusalem, Israel in 1960. Although Eli learned to play cards at a young age, he had no intention of becoming a professional gambler. After graduating from high school, he set his sights on becoming a professional soldier, and not just any soldier. Eli sought to join the elite Golani Brigade, which posed a significant hurdle. Despite facing significant challenges, young and tenacious Elezra eventually achieved his goal of entering one of Israel's most exclusive land units. However, in 1982, his hopes for a future army career were dashed. He was discharged from the military due to a serious leg injury sustained during the Lebanon War. He spent his time in the hospital learning more about poker and planned for the future. When he was physically ready, he relocated to Alaska, where he heard there was a lot of money to be made. It was a difficult new beginning for Elezra, but his resolve to achieve paid off again. He got a job as a cab driver and eventually saved enough money to build his own modest store. When his brother informed him about a business opportunity in Las Vegas, Eli, who is always up for a challenge, packed his bags and came to Sin City in 1988. In Vegas, he purchased a small company that processed films and photographs. The company immediately took off, and Elezra began to make a substantial income. He used the original funds to expand his empire, investing in real estate and other commercial ventures along the way. Eli began to play more poker as his company prospered, and he found himself in Las Vegas. He had always enjoyed the game, and now he had the time and money to pursue it seriously. Initially, he focused on cash games, and his lifetime tournament earnings of nearly $4 million demonstrate that Eli was never a great admirer of MTTs. For someone who has been around for so long, that figure may easily be considerably higher. Despite these limited efforts, Elezra has achieved noteworthy accomplishments. He owns 4 World Series of Poker bracelets, the most recent of which dates from 2019. Interestingly, none of his bracelets came from Hold'em tournaments. 3 came from 7-card stud tournaments, and 1 came from his victory in a 2-7 triple draw tournament. It may appear weird, yet it makes a lot of sense. When Eli first started playing poker, Hold'em wasn't as popular. Furthermore, high-stakes games like those at the Bellagio are frequently played in the mixed game style. So understanding these many games is critical for anyone hoping to stick around and not go bankrupt. Elezra achieved his highest individual event score in 2004. That year, he won the Mirage Poker Showdown, earning $1,024,574. His second best score came from his runner-up result in the 2018 WSOP Omaha 8 Championship, which earned him about $260,000. Considering the Israeli only had 1 spectacular score in his career, the sum of $3.9 million is rather outstanding. Eli has always been a true grinder, playing his heart out on the pitch and loving every minute of it. He was also a frequent in Las Vegas's high-stakes cash games, where he spent a lot of time grinding. Unfortunately, no one knows for sure what his outcomes are because there's no formal tracking. Without the poker boom, Elezra would most likely have stayed relatively obscure to the mainstream poker audience. Because he was more focused on cash games, his name wouldn't have received as much attention and would have been eclipsed by others who won large field events. He soon rose to the status of poker celebrity thanks to events like Poker After Dark and High Stakes Poker, which featured cash game action and high buy-in sit-and-goes. While he wasn't a big name like many of the others he felt a connection with, such as Doyle Brunson, Ivy, Tom Dwan, and Patrick Antonius, everyone knew he belonged. He knew all the players, was friends with many of them, and was far from an outsider. He was a popular figure among the audience at the tables. As an ex-Israeli soldier with many great anecdotes to tell, he brought something entirely new to the game. At the same time, he wasn't just any random person that pros could run over. Eli held his own and wasn't scared to compete against the best of the best in some huge pots. And the odd thing is, Elezra was the polar opposite of what you'd anticipate him to be. He's never been a quiet, enigmatic figure who's just there to play poker. He was often the driving force behind table conversations, whether he initiated them or responded to other players' inquiries. Elezra, who is married with 5 children, has a vibrant personality, and his appearance on television was undoubtedly beneficial to poker. He was never a professional player in the strictest sense, as he used his business ventures to feed his enthusiasm for the game, but you'd never know it seeing him play. Eli finished writing his autobiography in 2017, and it was released in the United States in 2019 under the title Pulling the Trigger. It's an interesting book, especially for followers of the Israeli player, because it goes well beyond Elezra's poker career. In the book, he discusses his childhood, his time in the war, his tribulations in Alaska, and how he eventually made it into the high-stakes poker world. Looking to promote his book, Elezra started a topic on 2+2, the largest poker community owned by the firm that published his autobiography in the United States. The thread was designed to allow everyone to ask Eli any questions they desired answers to. However, things went rapidly ugly and the thread was erased. Several well-known poker pros came out of the woodwork, accusing Eli of failing to pay his obligations. Abe Masseri and Cole South were the first to publicly criticize Elezra, but rumors soon spread that he owed a large sum of money to a variety of people. Eli refuted the charges, but they quickly circulated across the internet. Sean Deeb also spoke forward, stating that Elezra owed him money. According to Sean, Eli borrowed money from him and, for a while, paid it back in installments before stopping totally. He has no live tournament cashes since the 2019 WSOP, thus it appears like Eli has been avoiding crowds, at least a little. What do you think about the rumors and allegations? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel before you leave.